are you? My name's Samantha. This is Stitch Your Library. This is just going to be a very brief video telling you about what I've been doing on my Stitch Your Library stuff. Oh, sorry, I'm a little bit out of breath. Stitch Your Library is my mini series where I'm talking about my Ravelry library and me working my way through it from the oldest things to the newest things. I'm trying to keep it at having one big project that might take me a few weeks, but then I'm interspersing smaller projects as well, so you're not just looking at the same thing every week. You will be looking at the same thing every week, but you'll also have something else to look at as well, which makes it better, hopefully. This week, if you've been on my Instagram or on my TikTok, I keep trying my TikTok. I keep forgetting it exists though, because I don't really use it. But Instagram, TikTok, I have put videos up. It's done. It is finished. It's come out. It's not even all going to fit on the screen. There we go. This is my Yarnspirations Aran Hearts blanket. I have not done the border on the tops and bottoms. It's supposed to have like a scallopy border, but I didn't want to open another ball of yarn, and that is all I had left. So I did not want to open another ball of yarn for it. This ended up taking way less yarn than I thought. I think I've ended up with 3 balls left and that little nuggie. So I had done my yarn calculations from the original, right. I had done my yarn calculations from the original pattern. And I had got the amount of, like, the yardage that it said to get for that. Then when I downloaded the pattern, if you remember, it turns out that they had redone it for the Ogo. And so I had calculated from the Ogo yardage and how many that they were using for that, because it was just a single colour that they used for that as well. And I didn't think I would have enough, and I might have to go back and get some more. But I didn't want to buy any more until I found out exactly how much more I would need. And I'm glad that I never just randomly bought more, which is very unlike me, because usually I'm just like, oh, I need more, and then I will just go and buy it, and then whether I need it or not. But I didn't. I was very good this time. And I've ended up having like 3 balls left, which is ever so weird, and I don't know what happened. There's a very good chance that it was just my math being bad, because my brain has been slightly mushy recently because of everything that's going on in my life. So there's a good chance that I just did bad math. But regardless, I have a blankie and I still have 3 balls of yarn left. I am not going to talk about it massively too much because I have spoken about this lots and lots and lots and lots of times. This has been the thing that's been in my Ravelry library for the longest. So here's a close-up of all the sections. I missed the stitch here, look. I'm a professional crocheter. People pay me to crochet stuff for them, and I'm doing stuff like that. I swear. And it's only because it's for me. If it had been for anybody else, like even if it's not work related, if it was for anybody else apart from me, maybe my kids, because they don't care, I would have ripped it back and redone it. But by the time I noticed that, I was like, I know, it's terrible. But there's no ends. I've sewn in my ends. I didn't really have many because I was doing magic knots all the way through it, because it's just a single colour I've used, because you work it side to side. So yeah, this is it. It's done. It's finished. I can actually use it now. I've been trying to keep it nice for you. I've not even washed it yet. I'll keep you updated as well on the yarn, which, sorry, got the top of my head there, dropping stuff on the floor. The yarn that I use for it is this one, Neko. And that's the, come on camera, you could do it. There you go. and it's the colour Salmon, if you look at it online. I think I got this from Lovecrafts, 100% acrylic. It's not bad, it's quite nice to work with. I didn't have any issues with knots in the balls or anything like that. It was all very nice. And yeah, I think I've got 3 balls left, so I need to find something else to do it. I will get this, I'll put it through the wash and through the tumble dryer, and I'll let you know next week, if I remember, how it turns out. I think it feels like the sort of thing that would get even softer once it's, oh, it's acrylic. Acrylic always gets softer once you wash it and dry it, doesn't it? Yeah, that's that. That's my first big project of the series done. So the next big project is the Mario scarf. I've done a little bit on this. I've started, oh, see, I've got some increases on the side here. So these will go out and then come in, and then we'll go out into the main part of the scarf again. And it took me a while to work out how to do increases on it. This pattern is not so much a pattern as you just get these. You'll literally just get the charts and that's it. And it just explains to you. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. Just like this one's a free pattern as well. And you just get the charts for it. So there's no instructions, and so I'm having to work out some stuff because I've done double knitting before, but I've never done increases and decreases. It's not too bad. I probably should have just been and watched a YouTube video about it, but I didn't, and I just kind of made it up as I went along. But there's no holes in it, and everything still lines up. So I'm kind of happy with that. If you've never done double knitting before, I think I explained this last time. You have like your edge stitch, and then see those two stitches? That counts as one stitch. And whichever colour you want to be at the front, as you're knitting across, you will knit the first stitch that you come to, you will knit it in the colour that you want to show. So like on this side, we want the knit stitches to be green, and on this side, we want the knit stitches to be black. So as we're going along, for this one, because we want these edge stitches here are going to be green, so I would knit the first one with green, and then I would bring both yarns to the front, purl with the black, both yarns to the back, knit with the green, both yarns to the front, purl with the black. You know, I don't know if that's making any kind of sense, but you treat this as one strand, but then you split this when you actually do the stitch. But for moving it forwards and backwards, you're always moving both strands, and it can get, it's a little bit like doing ribbon, but you're just working with pairs of stitches all the time, and it's not the fastest thing in the world, but it looks really cool, and it's squidgy because it's double thickness. And because you're knitting them like you're knitting 2 panels at the same time, all the crossover, and there's no floats or anything, everything's inside. So once I'm done, all I have to do is bind off, and I'll have that end to weave in, and I'll have the one at the other end to weave in, and that'll be it. And I don't need to do any finishing on it, which will be glorious. I mean, I'll need to give it a little block because I want my stitches to be nice. I could have probably done with going down a needle size on this now that I've knitted a bit, but I don't think it's really going to matter too much. Sorry if you can hear my phone going off there. I don't think it's going to matter too much. This is going to be for my smallest person, and he likes it, and I've showed him it today, and I did give him the option. I said, we can carry on like this, or I can take it down and I can do it in crochet for you or something like that. And he's like, no, I like that. And I was like, yeah, you would do, wouldn't you? the things we do for our children. But no, I enjoy double knitting, it's just so slow. So this is likely going to be on the needles for a really long time. I'm using 4.5mm needles just because I'm using DK yarn. Again, there is like no instruction in the pattern. But for a DK, I would normally use like 3.5, 4mm, depending on like what sort of drape I want and what kind of yarn it is, because not all DKs are created equal. And I just thought it might be better going up half a size because double knitting can get a wee bit tight sometimes. So yeah, that's that. This is going to be my new big main project to work on. Let's pop that on there. So I have one more thing to show you. We're on 11 minutes already. This is supposed to be short. And it's a hat. And it's massive. Right, I'll show you it on quickly. It looks ridiculous, but I'm going to show you. So we can have this. This is a look. It's not one I would use though. I'm turning around and showing you. I don't even know if you can see this, but it's like slouchy. It's quite slouchy because I wanted to, oh, itchy nose. I wanted to use up the last bit of the grey yarn. This is, if you watch my regular podcast, this is the stuff that I made Henry the Hippo out of, and I had to buy one last ball and to make like half an arm, some ears and nostrils, and so it wasn't a full ball. And because it wasn't a full ball, I wanted to do these bits in a different colour, which I'm glad I did because I wouldn't have had enough otherwise. So this is from Moogly blog, which I'm sure most people have stumbled across at some point if you crochet. It's worked from the bottom up. It's a free pattern. Worked from the bottom up. These, can you see how they're braided? The bits in between are back loop half double crochet, no, third loop half double crochets. These cream bits are quadruple crochets, and then you just loop them through each other at the end, because the quadruple crochets were like that big, and then you loop them all through each other. And I'm saying this is finished, but I do still have to put some buttons on it. Oh, see, at the minute I've got stitch markers on there, so I need to put 2 buttons on, and then I'll loop these last loops over the buttons, and then that'll keep it very pretty. I've got a giant box of buttons somewhere and I cannot for the life of me find them. I don't know what I've done with them. They're not anywhere near any of my other craft stuff. So clearly at some point my squirrel has gone, let's put this in a safe place, and then completely forget its existence. Because it likes to do that. I'll come across it at some point. It'll be fine. So when I find buttons, this will be going in the shop. And I did debate keeping it. I went down a hook size. She wanted me to use a 5.5mm. I used a 5 because I'm quite a loose crocheter. And I did the largest size because I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep it or put it in the shop, and I have a giant head. So... And that's it. That is everything. So this week I will be working on the Mario scarf, and I don't know what else. I don't know what I'm going to have as my next like smaller project to show you. I need to check my stats. I've not checked my stats. I will put them down here somewhere. Last week's video I did not edit at all because it was very late, so this week I will try and do a little bit of editing, and I'll put my stats in for how much, because I've had a couple of patterns as well in my library that when I've gone into them, the patterns are still there, but I had like 2 cardigans that I had to take off because they've been in my library for that long. It was before people were making size inclusive patterns, and they didn't have my size. They had 1 or 2 sizes and none of them were mine, and I don't want to do the math to like grade somebody else's pattern. So I have got plenty of garment patterns coming up in my Stitcher library. I have got everything coming up in Stitcher library. I have got such an eclectic mix. I've had a look at the next page or two. There's a lot of gloves. I have a lot of gloves coming. What else do I have? Gloves, hand warmers, a few hats, some amigurumis. I can't remember. There's one big section that's full of skirts. I have quite a lot of cardigans, jumpers. I just have a proper mix of everything. So I'm going to go back and have a look and see what's going to be next on the list. I think the next thing is the other Mario scarf, but it's the Princess Peach version. So I'm not going to start that until that one's finished. And then I think the next thing on the list after that is there's a penguin hot pad, and it's meant to be double knitting, but I think I'll probably do it as colourwork crochet and then turn it into something else rather than a hot pad. I'll need to see, but I might do that and do a little bit of penguin colour work, because the thing is, I like it. I don't know if it's because when you look at penguins are black and white, and I'm used to seeing them with like the black back and the white front, but when I'm looking at the pictures of the pot holder, it's done in purple and black. So on the side where the black bits are where they should be on the penguin, it looks fine, and I love the pattern. And then it shows you the reverse of it, and my brain's just like, no, can't do that. So I'm going to use the pattern from it, and I'm going to do colour work for it. I'll probably do Tunisian crochet, because I like doing Tunisian colour work, and then I'll back it with something, or it depends on what I turn it into. I might turn it into a hot pad, I don't know. I might turn it into a little bag or a little pillow or something. But either way, we're only having colour work on the one side, and it is a side where the penguin is like the colours the right way around. Does that make sense to anybody else, or am I just being weird? I don't know. I could be making sense to somebody else and still be weird. Two things could be true at once. Right. I'm gonna go, because we're at 17 minutes. This is supposed to be quick. It was lovely seeing you. I will see you again next Monday for another Stitcher Library. I will see you on Friday for the podcast. Podcast went up on Friday just there. So if you haven't watched that, please go and watch. And yeah, just have like a really good week. And I'll see you on Friday. Bye.